We will get started momentarily. Hello, everybody. Say hi in the chat, and I will attempt to say hi as well. There we go. There I did. I said hi. And we're going to get started once we get like a minute or so, just for people to filter in. All right, all right, all right. Hello, Cecilia. We're doing it earlier than usual today because I'm very busy. We're going to start moving some small stuff, but the big move to the new house is tomorrow. So I'm really excited about that. Hello, Powell. Julian, hello. Hello, Techprology, the one. Rohit, Jay, Harsh, Dernette. My hands are freezing. I'm going to tell them to turn up the air a little bit. Krish. Philip. The other person, I cannot pronounce that. I don't even know what that says. All right. No, it is not already. What I did, though, I recorded 2 videos last night, and those are going to be my 2 videos for next week. That way I don't have to work next week. I just have to edit them. All right. Let us get started here. So today's just, very like your typical review. However, I'm going to be focusing primarily just on pointing out what I think is like the single worst element about your design. That way we can just keep it interesting, a little bit more unique from the previous live streams. And then that way we'll have a little bit more fun. All right. Shrey, yeah, we did that already yesterday. All right. Okay, so the sponsor for today, which is why I have this up here, is framer.com/design course. It's the top link in the YouTube description. Click on that because you will get, I forget what it is. It's like 20% off any paid plan. So interactive prototyping made easy. I already did a video on Framer. Definitely check them out. It allows you to really integrate great interactivity very, like it says, effortlessly into your designs that you can import from Figma, Sketch, or Framer desktop. So definitely check that out. Take advantage. Of course, there's a free plan, and then there's also the 20% off any paid plan. All right, so let us get started here. Let's go to our negative space submissions. Now, also, if you want to know how to submit your design here, just look at the YouTube description. It tells you pretty much what you need to do. And this is where I'm accepting all the submissions here in Discord. All right, so let us do this. David Spudic. It's not loading. What is happening? Where's the Jeopardy music? Oh, finally, there we go. We have a broken image right here. All right, so let's talk about, we'll just ignore that broken image. Let's see. This is pretty good. I could tell already. So I have to point out what the single worst thing on this design is. Maybe it's that broken image and the fact that it took so long to load, but that's not a design issue, really. Yeah, I'm having a hard time finding, too much wrong with this. I like this. I did spot a couple things, though. All right, I'm going to say the single worst thing about this design is a lack of contrast in a couple areas. That is right here, what I can expect on a first call. I understand you wanted to dim out the other ones in order to bring importance to the one that's currently active, but this is still way too light in contrast. So you need to bump those up quite a bit. And the same thing I'd say with your call to action, the background being this yellow color and then this on white. It's still not hard to read, but it's borderline. It would be better if either the type was black or you kind of increased or you changed up this color a little bit. So for instance, we could keep something very close to that color, but we could do something like this instead. Now it's a lot better or easier to read than this. I think it was like right around here. Like right there is like real good. I think that's a good compromise. All right, but this is solid. What do you think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. I mean, I really don't see very much wrong here at all. Nice, good, bold type. It's almost too big, but I'm not going to critique it. Any bigger, and I would say that's way too big. But yeah, this looks pretty solid. And of course, it's responsive. Yeah, this is good. Way to start off with a good, solid design. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this one an 8.3. Yeah. I don't think the issue with his site loading slow had to do with like having a ton of assets to load. I think there was a server issue or something like that. It was just loading really slow. So I don't think a loader would make sense if assuming the site was loading correctly. Let's continue on. Next up. All right, so now we have to ask ourselves, what is the single worst thing or aspect of this design? Let's scroll down and see what's happening here. All right, so I have my answer. What do you guys think? Like, what is suffering the most? Like, what's the biggest issue with this design? We'll see if people agree with me. Let me know in the chat. Somebody said the color green. Like, they just think there's too much green. I don't agree with that. I think there's more of an issue with something else. White space, monotone, the layout. I think white space, too less space. Yes, you guys are right. There's not enough white space. If I bring out my DevTools here, and let's see what's happening here. Let's see if we could take this element, this lead, no, the header. I mean, if we can increase the padding here, maybe not that much. I know this isn't perfect, but just increasing the white space, it just makes it look so much better from at least the top and the left. But if we refresh this, there's hardly any white space on the top. And there's other issues, of course, like the leading's a little bit, or the line height's a little bit too high. There's not enough white space between these elements. These background elements aren't watermarked enough, so they're a little strange, they're confusing. But I would say the biggest thing here is a lack of white space. You need to create, all your elements need more room to breathe. And I would say, like, if I extend this all out, I wonder if this container stays this large. Yeah, you need to try to get your overall container from the right to the very left, push those in more towards the center, because it's just, this fluid design as it is, it's just too much to scan on a large browser. So definitely just try to work in more white space. Even with these, like, these should be smaller. All of these should be way smaller, more white space between them. So 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you guys think this person should get for a rating? This is a decent section right here. This has some decent white space around it in this area. So it's just a few key sections, really. Yeah, so for me, I'm just going to give this design around a 6. Yeah, okay. Next up, who is next? Let's see here. I made medium mobile redesign. Alrighty then. All right, so I don't use medium personally, so I don't know what it looks like. Here's the splash, or the initial loading screen. This looks pretty good in terms of design to me. What else is there? Looking at this, well, I need to pick at least one screen so that we can talk about it a little bit. There's a lot happening here. I'm not really sure which one I should even try to focus on. Let's just focus on this one. We'll say this one right here. What would you guys say is the biggest factor with this design right here on the left? In this one, it's not entirely obvious. I could go one of two ways with this. But it has to do with this top area right here, in my opinion. This area down here is pretty solid. I really can't spot anything that's really wrong with this. Well, what I will say, somebody said line height. What I will say is the edit button seems a little bit large, and the spacing inside like with the icon, like it just seems a little bit wonky. There's like a lot of white space unnecessarily around the pen graphic, and then the edit button. I seem that this button needs to be reworked a little bit more. Also, you could say the type between these two elements right here, like they need to be reinforced more with visual hierarchy. So this should be styled a little bit more differently than the followers and following labels, I would think. And so, yeah, like JVS said, it's kind of an issue with visual hierarchy in this section, at least. This section down here is pretty good. So we're not going to bother with a rating for this one just because these like Behance and Dribble and static prototypes, I just don't think it's worth doing. So it was pretty solid though overall. Next up, CL says this is still in progress. All right. Some of these can be pretty tricky because when there's a fair amount of things going wrong, you're not really sure about which one you should state is the worst. But there is something, logically speaking, that is the worst aspect. And some of it could be up for debate and subjective, of course. But what does everybody think is the worst aspect of this particular design? You know, and I could be talking about just UI design fundamentals, or you could point out a specific element here. I have my answer. Someone said top bar content alignment. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Too small hero section. Right, at least in this contain. Yeah. 13-year-old. All right. So the biggest issue, the single biggest issue I would say is how each section has white space all messed up, in my opinion. I mean, this, I can see up here, there's a decent amount of white space here, but up here, there's no white space between this little floating graphic. There's no white space here. However, at the bottom of these elements, there's a massive amount of white space. So you could also say alignment is an issue, like alignment of this content in relation to this container. But if you have this, what is this? Why is there so much space here? What is happening? Yeah, I mean, look at this. No one wants to have to scroll. They're gonna get finger cramps just from scrolling through so much unnecessarily. So you at least want to take these sections and center them in the container vertically. And of course, there's a lot of other stuff going wrong here. This top nav bar being 100% fluid, with this not being 100% out to the sides. Just take this stuff, put it in here. Take the end of your menu, put it right there at the end of contact. Should be like right around here. More white space on the top of this. More white space on the left and right. Give your elements room to breathe. And I think that will go a pretty long way. Also, your contact section, there's a big issue with alignment. This doesn't have a label. These have labels. Go to Dribble, go to Behance, go to the web design sections, try to get inspiration. For me, your age and your lack of experience, one of the best things to do is, as a matter of practice routine, is to go in and recreate pixel by pixel designs that you really aspire towards, and that will help build muscle memory when you go to do your own unique sites. All right, so 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think this person should get for a rating? Let me show you some of my work from when I was like 13 or 14. Somebody said a 1, 4, 3, 10, 2, 4, 5, 4, 3.5. Well, to be objective and not consider his age and just look at this in and of itself, I'm going to go ahead and give this probably around, we'll say like a 3, maybe a high 2, around there. But considering, this is a 13-year-old just starting out, doing some things right. So that's good. So I would rate it higher if we are also to consider age and experience. All right. Thank you for your submission. Keep at it for sure. I mean, I wish, well, actually I did start around that age, actually. I wish more people would start young. So keep at it for sure. Go, if you didn't see it yet, look at my 1999 design portfolio. It's on my channel search or whatever. Let's see here. I don't remember what your, I don't remember Just Coder. Kind of, yeah. Why? Anyhow, I don't have a good memory. Let's see, what's happening here. Can I expand this? All right, Krish. We got a 15-year-old this time. What is the worst thing about this design? I know it right now. I know it right away. Someone said it is these shadows. It's the drop shadows, these glowing sort of shadows. Get rid of those. They're just, they're cheesy, they're dated. That's something we used to do in the late 90s, early 2000s, just because we could. And sometimes when you have a lot of tools and abilities, like with CSS, what CSS gives us in design apps and stuff, we want to use all of them. It just throws off the flow of the design. It's like it just degrades the quality. So completely get rid of there is a use case for shadows, and actually I've done a couple videos about this on how to correctly utilize these type of shadows. Definitely check out those videos because I'll show you exactly how to use them. I don't think there's ever a very good use case for text-based shadows, but nonetheless, I think that's the biggest issue. This shadow around here, yeah, I would go back to the drawing board. It's just, I mean, one way to immediately improve it is to get rid of those shadows, though, and that will go a long way. There are some other issues here, though, like these are really large buttons, and there's also, they're not styled differently. Like the live site to click to go to it should be styled a lot differently than just the GitHub. One should be reinforced over the other. So, yeah. And a lot of you who are getting lower ratings, I can't stress this enough. Check out first designcourse.com. Put your email in to be notified of when this releases. We're almost finished with the actual project. JVS has been working on it a lot. So in several months' time, I'm not sure exactly when it should be released. But also, scrimba.com is something you can go to now. Take my UI design bootcamp right here. It's basically just about 9 hours long, almost 3,000 students right now. It's going to teach you UI design fundamentals like crazy. There you go. End of shameless plug. We'll do a rating on this, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think? What do you think this person should get for a rating? I would say slightly better than the previous one. All right, so for me, again, I'm gonna have to put this at like a 3.8 or so. It seems like I'm coming in a little bit lower than what some of you people feel. Oh well, that's how I feel. All right, next up, still in yeah, I think this is all right. Please check it in mobile mode too. Click on the heart sign icon right down. Okay. Small screens, mainly designed for some small screens. Okay, let's come in here. Try to get a web host that doesn't have this 00 web host crap down here. Welcome to our store. Is that it? What's happening here? All right. I guess I was expecting something to happen, like animation to come in, like to reveal an interface, but that didn't happen. Our products. All right. There's some big issues here. All right. What was I supposed to click on? Click on the heart sign icon right hyphen down. Where's the heart icon? What is it? What are you talking about? Is that it? Oh, to change the theme. Oh, okay, there we go. All right. Okay, so what is the single worst thing? Some of you are saying wasting the space, the UX is messed up. Why is it all blurred out? Very user unfriendly. Yeah, you'd have to tap on these because these are hover based on a mobile device. All right. So the biggest issue with this, I would say, man, it's a tie between two of them. First of all, right here, welcome to our store. Tiny little, you know, of course he's probably envisioning this, but it still would be really small on your phone if you can imagine seeing this type. First of all, what the hell is the store about? You're giving me no indication at all about what it is. And you're giving me no call to action outside of these tiny little icons over here. That's pretty bad. I mean, that's really bad. I would say that's probably the worst aspect because it's the first thing that the person sees, and it's going to, you know, that's the biggest thing that you have to get right is the first screen that a person sees without having to scroll down. Outside of that, a very close second is this area. Why are you blurring these out? It's just so 100% unnecessary and very annoying to the user. I know it's fun to play around with and say, hey, I can reveal this cool little effect, but from a UX standpoint, why do that? Why not just show it like this right up in front so you're not requiring action on, you know, on behalf of your users? So definitely want to address that. There's a lot of kind of like this, it's almost like that neumorphism type thing that's going on, and there's multiple colored shadows around here. You definitely want to kind of go back to the drawing board for most of this. Those are the two things really I think that need to be addressed. So 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you people think this person should get? What? I'm streaming right now. Yes, what do you want? All right, so for this, I'm gonna have to give a 2.1 or so, 2.3, something like that. I like that you're trying to be unique though. That's the good thing, and also graphical about it. You know, doing something unique. But yeah, just go back to the drawing board, address those two things primarily, and then maybe send it next time for a live stream, and we'll see if you improved. And save a copy of the original if you can, so that we can compare the two. All right, next up. Now, here we go. Please check on mobile. This is the next one. Developer portfolio. Let me get this situated so we can see the chat still. Hi, my name is Siddharth Roy. Okay, let's scroll down. Now remember, what's the worst thing about this design? I think this is going to be an easy one. Yeah, I agree. White space and alignment. This whole section, what's happening here? We have an about section. We have a div, about. Height is 100 viewport height. What if we take that off? Let's do like 40 VH. No, maybe like 60 VH. And then we could do maybe display grid, place content center. Oh, darn, it's not going to work how I wanted to. I wanted to center this element right here vertically, and that's not going to work. But there's this right here. This, if you're going to have this tiny little section, why are you sticking it just all the way at the top so that we have this massive, because this is 100 viewport height as you have it set. At least change the viewport height or whatever down to like 60. This is just a massive empty space here, and it's annoying, and it looks bad. And this little down, tiny little indicator, not big enough. Like if you want people to scroll, make it obvious, and at least give this some animation, like pulsating up and down or something like that. So definitely, I would say that is the biggest issue. Down here, the biggest issue is alignment. Of course, there's too much white space, and it's not. These aren't lined very well. One thing to fix that: don't make it 100% fluid. Get your container in, white space on the right and left, and then these things will become close together, and they won't be so spaced out and so separated. All right, real quick rating for this one: 1 worst, 10 best. What do you think? We started off with like this awesome submission, and then everything kind of just went downhill from there. That's okay because you're beginners anyway, for the most part. For this, yeah, we'll go with like maybe like a 3 or a high 2 again. I think that'll be pretty fair for that. All right, next up. Oh, we're at 28 minutes already. Okay. Animator supporters. Okay. What is the biggest issue about this design? I know already. And there's a few things, you know, that are quite wrong about it. Somebody said alignment. Somebody said contrast and spacing, the white text, contrast. Yes, most of you are correct. This up here, this white right here on this yellow, it's hard to see. And it hurts your eyes. So that mainly is what needs to be adjusted. This container over here, you know, we have text aligned center probably somewhere. We want to left align that text, because this just looks strange being centered over here in this left column. Left align it, and also alignment and layout structure, like this big white block right here. It's just a little bit confusing, along with the titles just being pushed over here to the left. It's not, you don't have a nice strong column that starts off your design. You have a column defined here, and then a column here from this description and the headline, and then a column that's defined here randomly from this way, and then a column way over here. It's just, you can improve this design so much more just by changing up and trying to make sure everything starts on the same column. I mean, look at this. We have like this title way over here. It says feed, and then the feed's like 4,000 meters away over here, and then it just says all caught up over here. I don't know what that means, honestly. All right. So 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think this person should get as a rating? Yeah, white text on a yellow background. That's usually going to be something that makes everybody go blind who visits your website. So you don't want to do that. Dog farm, come on, or dog fam, don't spam. Put user in timeout. You get a timeout. Or wait, did that not work? There we go. For this, I'm gonna say, yeah, again, I can't go too high on this. I mean, 2.8, 2.9. Yeah, this is probably one of our lowest rated days, you know. Every single person that I've given like this low rating to, you better be watching my videos intently. I mean, maybe you have, if you have, maybe I've done a really bad job. I don't know. Or you could just be new. That's fine. I don't want to be too like judgmental here. Website for a new, what was that? Startup in Australia. Okay. All right, this is an Adobe XD prototype. All right. All right, so this is definitely going to be a better one in my opinion. Looks like they're using Montserrat lead gen. What we do, blah, blah, blah. Let's scroll down. I hate this. The problem with prototypes sometimes is like when you you go to view them. There we go. Now it's going to look a lot better. What is the worst thing about this design? I don't have the answer yet, so I'm going to scroll down and just see what I think. I like the little hover-based animations here. What is the worst thing about this particular design? Huh. I have to say, this is a little bit confusing right here. I wouldn't say that it's too dark. Somebody said too dark. Somebody said too light. Yeah, I mean, in order for me to say there's something absolutely, well. All right, I found it. The one thing that I would say is the worst problem about this design is probably this section right here. I know you're trying to be like unique by pushing things up and down, and you can do that to a slighter degree, but going from here to here, then all the way up here, I think that's just too much of a change. I probably would just stick to the standard flow where they're all even with each other. I don't know what this is, some sort of like secondary menu, so I might opt to change that. Plus, it being the same color as these over here, it's a little bit confusing. But other than that, I have to say it's pretty solid. I like how these are aligned because these are just photos. They're kind of like a collage, the masonry block sort of thing. But yeah, outside of that, I really can't say anything too much wrong about this. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Finally, we can get something over a 5. Yeah, so this one, I think we're going to go ahead and rate this one a 7.7 or so. I think that's fair. All right. Before we continue, make sure, by the way, to support the sponsor of this live stream, which is Framer. Framer.com/design course. Top link here in the YouTube description. And you'll get 20% off any paid plan. They also offer a free plan as well to get started. And basically, it's interactive prototyping made easy. I've done a full video about this, so do a channel search as well to learn how to use it. But basically, you can import your UI designs from Figma, Sketch, or Framer desktop, and then you can make it interactive with just a few clicks. And it could do some things that Framer, not Framer, but Figma and Adobe XD can't. So definitely check it out. Like I said, get a free plan, or you can get 20% off any paid plan and use my link here. All right, let's continue on. Next up. Oh, it's this one. I was trying to figure out who is next. Cecilia. Okay, she was in the chat. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and try to pinpoint what is the biggest issue with this particular design. And it could probably, yeah, I think there's one that kind of stands out the most as being an issue here upon first looking at this. Someone says, font choice, too small fonts, 2005 word vibes, vertical text, typography. No one said it yet. No one has said it. I mean, I could be wrong. A lot of people are saying the type, which, you know, you guys probably have a case there. All right, somebody said it finally. No visual hierarchy. It's like, I'm not really sure where I should look first. And that could also be reinforced by what you guys are saying about the typography kind of being quite small. But yeah, I'm not really sure where I should look first because everything's kind of like really crammed in together. There's not a lot of white space. There's a fair amount of text here, and because it wraps around, it's kind of throwing a little bit of clutter to the design in a sense, because it's not giving you a nice structured, you know, elements of separation between the picture and then this area here. The type definitely is too small on this resolution at least, and I think you would, at least on this resolution, how it's pulled out here almost to 4K. You could stand to make this container larger. So push this out here to the right, and then your left could be going out to here perhaps. But if you don't do that, just increase the white space in the middle. And I think that having the about me, the labels vertically aligned like this, along with this being vertically aligned, it's creating for a lot of clutter, and it's quite close to your elements. So separating these out so that about me is probably just the more typical approach, like on the top might work better, plus more white space between those elements. Or you can keep these here, but just make them watermarks, make them like very dark gray, almost just slightly lighter than the background. That will help to remedy some of the clutter issues, in my opinion. The type as well here, this is just a picture. This isn't even HTML or CSS. So I would, and plus the type, it looks like it's Times New Roman bold or something like that, and it's just not flowing well with the type that's up here. So you'd want to work on the type as well. Get that into HTML and CSS. And yeah, probably make these bigger, more bold, the titles, because there's still not enough of a difference between the actual description. Like, I'll show you. I'll show you how you can prove this quite easily. Can I make this bold? There we go. That's a lot better. You can further improve the visual hierarchy between these two by maybe making the color not quite that gray. but a little bit lighter, like this. Content paragraph. I'm not sure why. Here, let me do this. Wait, where's all the paragraphs? If I can just get to the paragraphs. Well, you see what I mean. I just make them a little bit, at least make that bold, because that'll separate those out a lot more. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think this person should get for a rating? Ugh, wrong cup. All right, people are saying 5. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. It's like kind of the middle of the road, 5-ish, in my opinion. I think that's pretty fair, right around there. Let us continue. All right, so I guess we can click different things, but let's just focus on this. Let me scale. Everything is like so massive, and that's one of the problems with these. What the hell happened? These prototypes. Did it just leave? What the hell? Oh man, let's try that again. I must have clicked the X by accident. And why is it doing that? Oh my god. Okay, I can't look at this one. It's not working. Sorry. GD, I'm very sorry about that. It's just, it was all messed up. Like, it's just too freaking large. Like, why is this cut off over here? Is that supposed to be cut off? Oh, reset. That was my fault. The browser was zoomed up. So I'm like, what the hell is happening? Okay, what is the single worst thing about this design? The Framer website's actually pretty good, so I'm not going to review that one. Yeah, the biggest thing about this one is this whole grid section here. It's hard to focus on like a single element. Like for instance, some of them with this background, like this light on the white and the gray text here, like I can't even read it. Obviously in some of them, that's not really a problem. Like down here, Sonder, you can see it easily. So when it comes to backgrounds that have the chance to change and they're variable, you want to account for that by really squashing out there, even on a completely white background, making sure you can still read this text. So there's a lot of different ways to do that. You can have like overlays that kind of surround this, that, you know, push it out dark or whatever. But as it stands, I think that's the biggest issue. They're quite large in your face and they're hard to read. All right. So 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think? I do like the sidebar. This is all done pretty well, in my opinion, over here. But yeah, this area is just, it's difficult. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give this a rating of 6.2, and I'm very certain of that, even down to the 10th decimal place. Okay, next up, 4 byte. All right, what is the worst problem about this design? Now, let's just ignore this stuff for now. Let's go up to this part. What's the worst part about this section here? Show us your biceps. Hey, I got to brag. A strict curl with 140 pounds recently. That Nick Strength and Power YouTube channel has been making like the strict curl popular. So I've been like training just for the fun of it when I'm at the gym. All right. The biggest issue with this is, here's what some people said. Typography, it looks cheap WordPress theme, contrast, alignment, the font scale, contrast, white, kill my eyes. I'm going to say the thing that is the biggest issue is your call to action section over here. And there's, in the way it's, okay, so first we have this, we have a headline, we have a sub headline, and then we have a headline, and then we have a sub headline, and then we have the call to actions down here. You need to simplify this thing big time. So either take this out and then put this centered in the middle. And if you're gonna use this block, this needs to be larger than this. I mean, you made it bold, but this type looks bigger. That's all messed up. Let me show you. Let me show you what you should be doing. Find the best developers. Let's make that lowercase d. There's some weird, the way you set this this HTML up is not ideal either. And then we are the web developers that provide custom web development and services for your project. All right, so then we'll change this to I wouldn't use this type exactly. But then I would take out this, delete, and then I would take the projects and contact us button, put it right under here. And also, they need to be bigger, and that's some ugly type. Whatever's being used on this can barely even see it. So I would definitely say that that is the biggest issue. Coming down here, the neumorphism, don't do it. Don't even try to do it. I mean, I've only seen it pulled off maybe like correctly like once or twice. So it just looks a little bit just dated and cheesy in my opinion around that. So what do you think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Let's refresh the original. For me, I'm just going to go ahead and give this site a 4.5. Seems like I'm kind of in the middle of what a lot of you are saying. You're either saying really low, like 2 and 3, or 7s, or although, okay, timeout. No spamming. All right. Who's up next? Deft Designer. All right. Deft Designer. All right, what is the issue here? I can't scroll down. So this is it. This is what we're faced with. Biggest issue is going to be, at least on this viewport, white space. There's too much of it, and it's all around. I feel like dark matter has consumed this entire design. Let's see what happens if we bring it in. You're going to want to fix this. See your breakpoint? Look at the over here on the side. You want to fix that. Make this collapse sooner if this is going to be the situation. But these two rows and column, I mean, these two columns need to be stacked horizontally into 2 rows at this point because they're just too close. Do that quicker. And this should be larger, at least on this kind of like a tablet view right here. But yeah, that's the biggest issue there. Yeah, you need to really utilize your space more. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think? All right. Timeout. No spamming, please. Yeah, for this, I actually kind of like the colors here. The primary color here sticks out well. Yeah, so for this, I'm gonna have to give it like just a flat up, straight out 5, I think, or maybe 4.5. Looks like I'm rating it a little bit higher than what you guys are saying. Let's continue on. Def designer, a website redesigner to process a 15-year-old's design. I have so many 15-year-olds. Where's all the 25 and 30-year-olds? Oh, they're not watching me on YouTube. That's what. Okay. Can I hit play on any of this? All right. Can I like zoom this up? No. What's Z do? Oh, there we go. People were telling me to use Z before. Okay, well, this is kind of not good. That's probably not what they wanted. This little menu off to the side. All right, what's the biggest issue with this design? I've spotted it. Brandon. Oh, man. Brandon Giovanni is somebody that I sort of grew up with in my teen years, and we were in a band together. Brandon played drums, and I played bass in that band. Yeah, he actually has a web design studio, a brick and mortar one for local businesses just down the street. I mean, by the way, I'm moving tomorrow to on 8 acres in Vienna. I can't wait. All right. So what I'm going to say is the biggest issue with this is probably this section right here. This up here is pretty solid. I think there's probably too much line height between this area, but for the most part, it's pretty good. This right here probably wasn't intentional. It's just an issue or an artifact of Figma's or whatever, how he set up the artboard initially. But this down here, when it comes to these 3 little blips here and the associated icons, I think that needs to be redesigned. They're too large, even knowing that it's on a small device. I think they just could be separated out a little bit more. And plus, I noticed like the icons, like the outline of this middle section is completely black, but this is gray, so it's throwing it off a little bit. Overall, from this part up, it's pretty solid, decent call to action, but nonetheless, this is probably the one single worst issue on this design. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think? Bro, I need a girlfriend, please. Please help. Well, your name's RTX Gaming, so I know when you're just... Wait, who's this? Oh, hey, this is the owner of the house that I'm buying. I have to pick this up. I'm sorry. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good, Gary. How about yourself?
Good, yeah. I'm in the middle of a YouTube live stream for my channel, but we can make this quick, though.
Okay, yeah, your appointment with DirecTV is 12 to 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be in and out all day. I'm not going to be real dependable about being there between 12 and 4.
No, they're gonna send me a text. Yeah, they just told me this morning.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
Yep.
Well, I got an appointment at 3 o'clock today, so I won't be there after that.
All right. Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
All right, Gary. Well, we'll be back after that to pick up some light stuff.
Okay.
That's
I'm going to move in some boxes to the garage if that's okay when I come down to meet them.
fine.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Goodbye. Sorry about that. For this one, yeah, Brandon, my old bud, said 6. I pretty much have to agree with that. Now, if we were only looking at the top part, I would say, you know, more like a 6.5 or a 7. But this over here degrades the quality. So I'm going to say, yeah, we're going to say a 6 or so for that one. Mute Gary. I know, that's so unprofessional of me, but I had to answer that. You know, I had to. All right. Let's continue on. We have time for a couple more. Let's do it. I'm getting into that house. All right. Biggest issue here is this up here. This is pretty important part of the site. You know, it's the headline with a sub-headline, and you can hardly even see it. There's a lot of these soft gradients going around, which I understand the effect that you're going for, which you almost pulled it off, but because this is, you know, I mean, if we change this real quick, if I get developer tools out here, and we go, the color is white, of course. I mean, if we go black, and then we'll take the next one, and we change that to black, but also change up the size, 32 pixels. We're using pixel values here. There we go. We take Uniswap up here, margin top. No, way too much. There we go. Now we've improved that area big time. So if I refresh this, you'll see what the original was, and you can see just you can't. It's hard to read on the eyes. So I would change that up for sure in that area. Otherwise, yeah, all the pinks that you have here. I mean, this is quite pinkish. I mean, I think it's a little bit too much in my opinion. You can do that sort of like real soft UI effect, but I would probably tone it down up here for sure. Otherwise, this has a lot of potential to be good. I like, you know, this design here for the charts. I like the table right here, pretty solid. I think these should be bold though, and black, and these should be probably a little bit lighter. Anyhow, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do y'all think this person should get for a rating? Wait, what happened? The stream isn't working. Oh no, that sucks. Am I back now? Yeah, I'm back. No, my power didn't cut off. I thought everything was just going normal. All right. For this, you know, it has a lot of potential. There's only that was just a small critique, really. I like the left sidebar here. That's done pretty well. This should be left aligned slightly, I think, possibly. But yeah, I'm going to give this one a rating of, yeah, a 6.8. All right. All right, everybody. Framer.com/design course. That's where you want to go. That's the sponsor of this video. Once you get here, you can get 20% off of any paid plan using that link, or just get a free plan to check it out. It is an interactive prototyping tool, meaning you take your designs from Figma, Sketch, or Framer Desktop, you import them into this tool, and then you can add interactivity very easily to your designs for you to showcase to potential clients or an employer or whatever. You can also collaborate and share effortlessly, as it states here. So that's been an hour exactly. So until next time, I'm not sure if I'm going to be live streaming next week. I'm going to be busy with the house, but definitely at least the week after that. I do already have 2 videos recorded for next week, and those will probably release on either Monday or Tuesday, and then either Thursday or Wednesday for the second one. So there's not going to be any delays in my content because of the big move. So I will see you all soon. By the way, make sure if you haven't yet, go to designcourse.com, put in your email address to be notified when the course, or not the course, it's not a course, it's like a bunch of courses plus interactivity and all that stuff in order to learn UI UX design. And that's going to be coming out sometime in 2021. So